Hello and welcome! This is a guide on how to get out of bounds in the Grand Festival venue. For those who don't know, the Grand Festival venue is a limited time hub that was only easily accessible during Grandfest, or the Grand Festival, which was the final Splatfest of Splatoon 3. At least as far as we're aware, we don't know. Maybe Nintendo has something planned, doubt it. But since Grand Festival ended like a few weeks ago by this point, at least as of recording, there's no easy way to access it, but it is still accessible. And before I start covering how to get out of bounds, I should cover how to get to the the Grand Festival venue, because otherwise you can't get out of bounds in a Grand Festival venue if you're not even at the venue. So, step 1, acquire amiibos, specifically of the idols, particularly of any of the idols that you can get your hands on. You don't need any specific characters. I currently have Callie and Marie on hand, but you might have the ones from Octahook, Pearl and Marina, or Deep Cuts, Shiverfry and Big Man. But I currently only have Callie and Marie from the Squid Sisters, both in this form and in this form. It doesn't matter which version you have, they'll both work just as long as they are idols. And they have to be from the 3 original groups from the first 3 games. It can't be any new group, it has to be the old ones, because otherwise they won't be compatible with Splatoon 3. They have to have existed before Splatoon 4, pretty much. And if you think you have to get, I have to get this set. No, don't worry. You just buy one idol amiibo. Like, buy Marie, buy Callie, buy Pearl, or Marina. Any of them. Any version of them as well. You could buy any of the Deep Cut amiibos. It doesn't matter. Just buy one and just use that to get to the Grand Fest. If you want to buy the rest, go right ahead. If you have the money, at least, don't spend everything. The individual amiibos themselves are fairly cheap, so just buy any of them. I particularly recommend the original Squid Sisters. They're the cheapest I saw, but if you can't get your hands on them because there's none listed, or maybe you just don't want them, you want the other ones, like the other groups, that's fine. Just pick up what you like and make sure you only buy just a single amiibo. And then if you want more, you can go and buy more later. So, you've just went out and got yourself an amiibo, so you can do the out of bounds stuff. I hope you only got one and didn't act like me and got several. But if you have the expendable income, go right ahead. I just don't recommend it. If you don't have the money, just get one if you absolutely want to do this. Or if you absolutely want to get back to Grandfest, or to see Grandfest, the Grand Festival venue. So once you have your amiibo, you have to go up to the amiibo box, which here it is in Inkopolis Plaza. It is here next to the train station. Here it is in Inkopolis Square between the snack van and the recon person. Here it is in Splatsville, between Hotlantis and the point that takes you, the little thing that takes you to Hero Mode. And to use the amiibo box, you go up to it, you do its instructed and press A, and depending on what controller, you touch the amiibo to the NFC point, which is either on the Joy-Con, the analog stick, specifically the right Joy-Con, as the left one doesn't have an NFC touch point in it, or the center of the controller, like with the Pro Controller. I am currently using the Pro Controller, so I will get my amiibo and read it. So, depending on what amiibo you have, whether it is used or not, you will either have to register it or not register it at all. If you register it, you will get a reward for registering it, and will have to work to get to more rewards, which is 20 wins, which is a bit ridiculous, but it makes sense. It just to prove that you deserve the reward and all that. But that's not what's important. What's important is, after you register it and all that, you get 3 options. 3. Originally, you would get 2. You would originally get 2 options, but now you get 3. And that third option is the important one. that will take you to the Grand Festival venue. And which version depends on which one of these three options you decide to select. Colorful Evenings is the first version, which is before halftime. The Night of Unity is after halftime and during the Three Wishes performance, and that Tranquil Dawn is after the Grand Festival has ended but before the results came in. So pick which one you want. You'll have different out-of-bounds opportunities depending on which one you have, and here's all three of them. Just a tip before we continue, in case you want to go between different versions of the Grand Festival venue or leave the Grand Festival venue, don't know why you would, and the way you do any and all of that is by going to the train station and selecting one of the options here. You can either return to the hub, which for me currently is Splatsville, go to the next song's start time, and then the different versions of the Grand Festival venue that you're currently not at, which could either be the Night of Unity version, which is this version, the Colorful Evenings version, which is this, which I was just at, and that Tranquil Dawn, which is this version. And depending on which version you're at, you'll have different opportunities for out-of-bounds stuff. Anyway, here's how to get out-of-bounds in all three versions of the Grand Festival venue. Starting with Colorful Evenings. And the first way I'll cover is the way I got out of bounds in the original video that I made on getting out of bounds in the Grand Festival venue, which is using this player NPC to get out of bounds. And as far as I can tell, you have to have it as a specific animation. There's a way of getting out of bounds using a player NPC later that I'll cover later that isn't dependent on the animation and is significantly easier and is very similar to this version, but you need this specific animation here, them doing this little shuffle here, and you need to position yourself between them and this box, and you need to go back and forth between them until you clip out of bounds. It has to be this animation because I guess it's the most stable. I've tried it with other versions, and there's one where the player NPC just stands there and they don't do really a good job at clipping you out of bounds. I like to imagine it as them kicking you out of bounds. But you just gotta keep trying. It is this way is tedious. It is not gonna happen first try unless you're extraordinarily lucky, but you just gotta have the faith and keep trying. There we go. And that's how you do that version. And that's how you do that way of getting out of bounds. And as I demonstrated in the original video, you can go pretty much anywhere in the Grand Festival venue once you get out of bounds. And you can see all the performances at different angles of which you're not supposed to get, but are really cool, especially since they're new and different. However, there is a different way of getting out of bounds, and it has to do with a jellyfish. Which jellyfish? This one right here. This little guy. And this way is really difficult. It is not easy, and it will take a few tries to get. But what you do is you position yourself right behind this jellyfish. You go into swim form just like usual. You have to be in swim form for any of these versions, for any of these ways of getting out of bounds to work. And this will likely work with any jellyfish, and it'll come with it'll come with which jellyfish it is and where they are. Like, the way you get out of bounds is different depending on the jellyfish. But it's probably going to roughly be similar to either the first way or this way. And pretty much, you just position yourself right here behind the jellyfish. It'll probably be different depending on the jellyfish or NPC that you're using to get out of bounds. And you jump at a specific angle, and you have to keep jumping until you are certain you're out of bounds. If you're not, you just position yourself right behind the jellyfish again and then try again. You have to, what you're trying to do with this jellyfish is you're jumping against the wall. You're pretty much jumping to clip out of the wall and hit the hill, and then continue jumping before the hill manages to kick you back in bounds, because the hill does not like it when you're out of bounds. It will try to kick you back in, and it will keep trying until it succeeds. However, jumping constantly will allow you to avoid getting kicked back out of back in bounds, at least resist getting kicked back in bounds, but it is not foolproof. There have been I have attempted this many times, and I have consistently fell back in bounds because the hill kept pushing me back. But what you're trying to do is clip out, continue jumping along the hill until you slip past this pillar, and you just keep going until you get past the next pillar, and then you're home free. I guess it kind of helps to aim for that little light patch there. When it comes to like clipping out, just like aim for it as you're like turning, like to. Oh my god! Yeah, aim for it. That's the first time that's happened to me. I wonder, has anyone ever done that? Cause holy shit. But yeah, okay. I pretty much got it. I just happened to manage to get the right angle to clip through the whole world. You don't want to do that. Just pro tip, don't do that. Don't clip out of the world. But yeah, it helps to aim for that light spot there, like this general area. Aim for it. Aim for it, and you'll eventually clip out of bounds. And as you do clip out of bounds, try to course correct to not fall. Hey, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Now, yep, there we go. And once you get to this part, once you manage to clip out of bounds and get into the safe zone, which is roughly around here-ish, you'll pretty much. If you land here, you'll pretty much get you'll pretty much be safe. I recommend to keep going until you get to here, past the second pillar. And once you're here, you're home free. However, if you want to get to the rest of the area, you have to pass behind the back of the Grand Festival sign here. Pass behind the sign, and make sure to hug the hill because you won't die. Thankfully. And then just jump up this hill and just continue on like normal. This way of getting out of bounds is in every version of the Grand Festival venue, no matter what version, whether it's that Tranquil Dawn, the Night of Unity, or the Colorful Evenings. You will always get that jellyfish there. He will always be there, and he will always help you through. Just don't do what I did and face through the ground. Don't jump in such a way where you clip right through the ground, because that's not very healthy for you and you will die. And yeah, that's everything for this version of the Grand Festival venue. Let's head on to the next version of the Grand Festival venue. Alright, and here we are in the second version of the Grand Festival venue, the Night of Unity. Unfortunately, there's no specific way of getting out of bounds for this one. The only way of getting out of bounds is through this guy, this jelly. He is always here and he will always help you. It is the same way as usual. It is the same way as usual. You just gotta aim for that specific part of the hill, and then clip through. It's nothing new here. It's just a different version, and it will always work. There we go. There we go. Yeah, it's the same method as usual. It's just a different area. And before I go on to the next version, I want to show something, because I thought this was kind of funny when I first found this and tried it out and succeeded in it. So if you're out of bounds and you go to the stage, it will not activate. It will not activate until you get close enough. And the only way you get close enough is if you really get close enough. You might hear it sound like, oh, it's starting, but it doesn't actually start until it starts getting louder. Now, it doesn't think I'm actually in the stage area, and because of that, because of that, I get to show you something kind of funny. You see it? You guys see it? Callie and Marina are phased into each other. Pearl and Marie are also phased into each other, and their animations are looped really badly right now. And this is the only way you get to see this. You can't see it any other way in game. You have to clip out of bounds for this. And they're all just dancing, and like they're all just dancing. Two of them are inside each other, the other two are inside each other. The last two aren't, and they're all just doing their own thing. They're all just like half the cast is phased inside each other, the other isn't. And there's the very noticeable loop. And this is literally the only way to see this. It's really silly. It's really silly. You're not meant to see it, and I love it. However, if you want to activate it, if you want to activate the concert, if you want to activate the concert at any point while wandering out of bounds, well, first off, you can't go too far. You can't go too far past the stage without it recognizing you as being by the stage. If you go like all the way or roughly around there out of bounds, it will recognize that, oh, you're by the stage, and it will start playing. Actually, I think it's when you thinking about it, I think it's actually when you finally get behind the stage that it finally recognizes, wait a minute, this guy or girl or whatever is is in the stage area, so let's start the song. But if you want to do it intentionally, all you have to do is get close. All you have to do is get close, and it will activate, and they will go back to normal. They'll go back to normal, and they'll perform everything like usual. And yeah, this is definitely not an angle you're supposed to have of this group. But yeah. And you don't have to go back in bounds. You don't have to go back out of bounds. You can just stay out of bounds and just activate it, and then because the boundary for it recognizing the boundary for it going, oh, you're in the concert area, let's activate the song, extends out of bounds, which means you can activate it out of bounds and get pictures out of bounds at any point. So go wild with this. If you missed some pictures and you were like, oh, you wanted some pictures of certain groups and all that, you can get them. But yeah. But that is the only way to get out of bounds. But that's like the only way of getting out of bounds in this area. If you want, like, you can get this sick ass like angle if you want. You have to go far back though, because it zooms in like hell. But don't go too far back, otherwise you'll be dead. If you go too far out of bounds anyway, you'll die. It's just an inevitability. But anyway, on to the next version. Now on to the last version of the Grand Festival venue, that Tranquil Dawn. Like usual, we have the jellyfish here. He will help us. Same strat, same everything. Wait, there we go. Yeah, that jellyfish. He's there in every version, of course, just like demonstrated before. You just go up here, and boom. And there's nothing unique to see here. It's all just the same stuff. In fact, this is pretty much just like the Colorful Evenings version of the Grand Festival venue when it comes to stuff to see and ways to get out. I'm not kidding when I say there are 2 ways to get out in that Tranquil Dawn's version of the Grand Festival venue. And it's in the exact same spot too. And now you might be wondering, why do I say that it's the exact same spot? I might be exaggerating a little when I say that, but I'm not joking in the slightest that it's the exact same spot. However, it's different. It's slightly shifted over to the left by a few feet, and it's easier. And if you're wondering, so do you do the same thing? Yes. It's the exact same thing, except it's slightly easier. because you have to hit the corner. The animation doesn't even matter. Boom! I did that so much quicker, and it's the exact same route to get into the main out of bounds area. And you can use this just like all the other out of bounds stuff to get cool pictures of all the idols. And just like I said earlier, there's not really much to see out here. It's just a copy and paste of Colorful Evenings version of the Grand Festival venue. Except it's a different setting, and it's only like 3 songs that play at each stage instead of like a whole list of like 5 per idol group. So take your pick. If you want a longer list of songs, go for Colorful Evenings. However, if you want pictures of Maritime Memories performance or Daybreaker Anthem, then go for that Tranquil Dawn's version. It's very slightly different. It's a different song set, and it's still worth it to go out of bounds anyway, because stuff is in slightly different positions, because it's a different time. It's at a different point in the Grandfest. But anyway, that is how you get out of bounds in the Grand Festival venue. I hope you guys use these methods of getting out of bounds. It's kind of sad that there weren't more, but it makes sense at the end of the day. But yeah, I hope that you guys take advantage of these methods and get some really cool pictures. I hope to see, like, especially of like the later ones. I've not seen that many people who've actually taken pictures of the later events, like of the like the Night of Unity. I've not seen that many people actually take pictures of that from that time out of bounds, like pictures from behind, pictures from the side. Like, people always, every picture I saw was like from the front, like where you're supposed to be, but not from out of bounds. And yet that jellyfish was there to help them if they wanted to get out of bounds. And that Tranquil Dawn, I didn't see anyone get out of bounds with that and take any pictures. At least I don't think I saw any. I might have, but pretty much every out of bounds picture I saw was from the first 2/3 of the Grandfest. Pretty much the Colorful Evening and all version of the Grand Festival venue. So I will be happy to see, like, people at least get some more pictures of the Grandfest and of it be the other versions, because it's cool to see everything there. And hell, if you want, you can share any pictures you get of your out of bounds adventures with me. You can share them with me on Twitter or on Blue Sky. I have accounts there. And hey, I hope they're cool pictures. Anyway, that's all this was. I hope you all enjoy your out of bounds adventures, and hope everyone found this very useful. Because yeah, the original video I made was more just me just goofing around in the out of bounds stuff. It wasn't really meant to be that much of a comprehensive guide or anything. This is more meant to be that, because it'd be useful for people to know how to get out of bounds. So yeah, thank you everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found this useful. And if you want to, and you want to share, and you want to let other people know how they can get out of bounds in the Grand Festival venue, you can share this video with your friends, family, or anybody you think would find this useful and or entertaining. Thank you everybody for watching, and have a good day. Bye bye!